1723. This is where the sequence of numbers, my lord, are not here, because on mine, on the one that now, as I said, my lord, others were removed. There's a last page of 175. I do not have 74 going downwards. There's only one page of 175. So the chronology of this part, it is not clear. But if you go further, where now it refers to the identikit which he says is marked A194, that is also in order, because if you go to volume 3, you will find that A194 indeed it refers to identikit of the two intruders. So the only mix up, so to say, my lord, is in relation to the paragraph of, or is containing these four photos, 17, 170, 17 and 23, and it's not in line, as I said, my lord, some of the pages, and I suppose is during maybe the consultation or exhibits being submitted, they're not in a proper sequence, my lord.
Engikushonyo ukuthi lana ke ngkwale statement engisibhekileke la ku paragraph 21 uyakhuluma ke la khona ke u Constable Zungu ukhuluma ngaye ke umsolo wesithathu uyasho ke futhi ukuthi kukhona ke ku la kubhalwe A94 kodwa ubhekade uthi kufanele ukuthi kube A194 abese yasho ke ithombe lapha yana u10 no17 bheka iye uthi ngempela ke lapho ziyahambelana ke nale album lesi u10 no17 aqhubeke ke athi ku page 17 ulapho ume lapho ke kanye naye unkani Sifiso Ntuli lokho ke futhi kuyatholakala ke la u-photo 22 no24 u31 no34 u36 46 no48 uthi ke la eseqala khona ke ukuthi manje izinto ke zibe nokudidana ke ila athi khona ke ku section A u volume 4 umthokozisene maphisa ukhona ke lapho ithombe u7 u170 u17 kanye no23 uthi ke lapho ke zona ayihlanganike lezi nezithombe noma ke ialbum le yena ke anayo aphinde futhi akhulumeke ngaye A154 ngokwalana ila akhuluma khona ke ngomdwebo noma ke identity kit.
Section A194, volume 4. It's volume 4 of the docket.
Yes, and if you read it, my lord, it's a statement of Sergeant Mabaso where he refers specifically, that is the downloading under Cleveland case 96 of 2015, and he refers to what he downloaded. So that is the original downloads, but then he attached the photo album. So that is what is marked A194. And that's what I would have interacted with Constable Zungu in relation with, because that's the download, my lord, that would have had in the docket.
A194 ke ila khona asho khona ke uConstable Mabasa ke athi uyena ke amsebenzisa ke noma ke ama downloads awathola khona ke uyena ke A194 lowe engisebenzisene naye ke noma ngisebenzise yona uma ngikhuluma naye uZungu.
Section A194, volume 4 of the docket is what was disclosed to us. It contains of photos from photo 3 to photo 49 of exhibit S of the record. So there is sequence in the numbering of the photos, Brigadier.
No, not on what I have, my lord.
In what I'm having, yes.
No, there's no sequence. In what I have, my lord, I don't have the sequence of the numbering, and that is why now I need to correlate the two, my lord.
Maybe we can request my colleagues to beam exhibit S of the record so that we can see the sequence of the numbering of exhibit S. Sorry to cut here.
Yes,
we can just look at the screen then. Maybe, sorry, Dr. Sibanda, can you go to the first page? Page 1 of exhibit S.
Yes, I can see that.
Where is yours, Brigadier? I mean the one that you say it is
but
not
I thought you said I must look on the
No,
screen.
I mean so that we can both of us look there and have mine and have yours.
Yeah, but mine, like I'm saying, is not in a sequence. It's only accurate insofar as accused 3 is concerned and the identikit. When it comes to accused number 4, your client, it is not in a proper sequence. So we'll find the same thing, because that's what I have. It's here. When it comes to accused 4, insofar as photo number 7, photo number 70, that referring, even photo 23, it's not in the sequence. So all the numbers that are in relation to accused 4 are not in line with this. All of them, not only page 7, insofar as this is concerned.
Uma ke kuya ngalokho ke uma kufikelela ke komeleke noma ke uclient wakho ke ama number awahlanganike hayi nje kuphela wonke lama number abhaliwe lana u7 17 17 kanye no23.
So that is the page 1. The page that is depicted there, it's page 1 of Exhibit S.
Yes, because for example, in what I have, my lord, that's why I said I need time to correlate it. Page 23, which Zungu identifies as one of the photos of accused number 3. It depicts accused 3 with Mabungu, one of the relative of accused number 1. This is what I'm talking about. That is not only one photo. So that's why I'm saying there's a mix-up, because I'm saying in what I have, and because I would have worked with what was contained in the docket. So that's why I said, one, we need more time, my lord, so that we actually give a proper explanation, even if it means, my lord, we do the extra download of the video, of the disc, because the disc is still available and it's original, then we can then refer to it. Because what I have, for example, here is it, page 23.
Page 23, it's accused number 3 in Mabungu.
Yeah, but here it says accused 4,
yes.
and that is why I said, my lord, accused 4, it's common cause that the matter was publicized on TV. The accused appeared from the 27th of October 2020. Anyone in the public would have known who are these accused. Particularly, Constable Zungu knows them as his homeland. So there could not be a reason he will miss all the numbers and identify the wrong person, my lord.
Ingakho ngishilo ukuthi ke umuntu angadinga ke isikhathi ke lana ngoba ngokwalana ke la achaza khona ke u23 enginaye mina la umsola wesithathu ke emenaye ke uMabhungu ekuyisihlobo sakhe umsola wokuqala, kodwa ke lana ke u23 yena ke umchaza noma umsho njengomsola wesine ke. Ingakho ngithi ke umuntu angadingeka ke kudingeka ke isikhathi ukuze ke lezithombe lezi noma lama number uwabekeke ngendlela nangokulandelana kwawo. Ngishilo ke nokuthi futhi iCD isekhona ke mhlawumbe ngasetshenziswa yona ke ukuthi ke ama number atholakale kahle.
There's also sorry man, sorry interject Nxumalo. There's also photo 170, which is not appearing on the exhibit that I have, my lord. I don't have something that goes up to 170.
Khona ke no 170 la engenaye ke mina ke la exhibit leli enginala nginayo 170.
So when can you bring this information? Because
I make a suggestion. Why don't we give the brigadier time for him to arrange the photos in the way he says Zungu was identifying them.
Correct, my lord.
That's what you are saying.
That's what I'm saying, my
Zungu
lord. I'm
was
asking for that.
identifying these photos from this affidavit.
Indeed, my lord. That's what I'm asking for, my
Yeah.
lord. So that we can find the
Reasonable.
proper sequence
So that
and
we
then
have something consistent with the affidavit of Zungu, because according to the brigadier, there's a mix-up. After the mix-up comes because you guys were taking out the photos.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, my lord. And if there is any mistake, my lord, I can also take it further that if for some reason, because Constable Zungu testified in court, my thinking is that if there's any mistake, for example, in terms of the numbering of these photos, if he was led about the sequence of the photos, I am sure, my lord, he would have rectified it. So the record will speak for itself. So one will have to look at the photos and then in trying to assist the court and look at the record as to what did Constable Zungu says if he was taken through the album, because then he must have been taken through the photos. And if he goes to the photos, he will indicate what he sees on the photo. In the event, my lord, there's maybe a mistake with the numbering contained in the statement. I think we'll find it also.
Yeah, so when can we do that exercise? Mr. Khumalo can continue with the cross-examination, and then we can arrange with the court and everybody else that the brigadier should rearrange, as he says, the sequence of the photos. Is that okay?
yes, it's okay. So when can you do that exercise, brigadier?
Yeah.
As a court, please, we understand the suggestion by my learned friend in the court, but my Lord, Constable Zungu has testified. His
Yeah.
evidence is on record. We've been checking his evidence during the adjournment. He refers to the photos where he identifies accused number 4 on the photos. Why should we now reinvent the wheel, go back to his affidavit when he has already testified? I think what my learned friend, without prescribing to him what he needs to do, go through his evidence, compare it with the photos that he identifies in his evidence, compared to Exhibit S. That's how it should be, you know. If, as Brigadier Gininda says, if there was any inconsistency, they would have confronted him with his testimony. Now, Brigadier Gininda is expected now to try and explain his evidence. We submit, my lord, that with the greatest of respect, that the best way will be to go through his evidence, compare his evidence with the photos, and check what his explanation was if he was confronted with any inconsistencies, and that should, in our view, my lord, solve the problem.
Yeah, Mr. Khumalo, what do you suggest?
My lord, I do have the record of Zungu. I think I'll have to go through the evidence. I do have the record of the records of Zungu. I think I have to go through the cross-examination, my cross-examination to Constable Zungu and see what he says.
No problem. You want to do it now?
No, yes, I want to do it now.
Yeah, fine. Continue, because according to the state, the record is clear. It speaks for itself. That record, Mr. Baloyi, on what date was Zungu?
Yeah, for instance, on the 7th of September.
It's the record of the 7th of September.
Yeah, 7th September 2023 at page 14.
2023.
Yes, 7th September
This
2023.
Zungu's evidence starts from page 23.
Yeah, no, this is where he identifies.
Yeah, fine. But
on page 14.
Page 14.
Yeah, he identifies photo 21 of Exhibit S as the one depicting accused number 4. And he carries on.
Yeah, Mr. Nxumalo, you can continue. Because they say the photos were identified and that is on record. So you can cross-examine using whatever means you think.
My colleague tells me on the 2nd of October 2023, Advocate Nxumalo deals or cross-examines Constable Zungu on the photos.
On the very photos?
Yes, Exhibit S.
Yes, continue, Mr. Khumalo. Is the allegation that Zungu at one stage couldn't identify the photos properly? Has that been put to you?
No, it has not been put to me, my lord.
But I see your contention is the whole of South Africa on the 27th of October 2019, is it?
2020, my lord.
2020.
Yes.
They saw the accused on video, TV.
On TV, my lord, and it's been like that all the way. That is
ever since?
Ever since, my lord. That is why we opted for the option of the album. If they were not publicized and they did not appear in court, one would have then wanted to do a formal identification parade because he said he knew them. So doing an ID parade of accused that have appeared in court would have been really a fruitless exercise, my lord.
Ngiloko ngishoyo ukuthi ngazi 27 October 2020 abasolwako bese beboniswa ke noma bevela ke ku TV, ingakho ke manje bengekhe ke kusebenzeke ukuthi kwenziwe ke iID parade ngaleso sikhathi abasolwa sebebonisiwe ke ku TV, ingakho ke sasebenzisa yona ke ialbum.
My lord, I'll come back to this aspect.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Brigadier, inform this court that upon your assessment of the docket, there are certain facts that inform you that they were intruders. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Ngishilo ke ukuthi ke ngokubuka ke idokodoke ukukhona ke okwangitshela ke noma kwaba inkomba ukuthi ngempela kunabantu abangena endle kulo yamuzi.
From the record of the 17th of October 2014, you mentioned about 4 factors that informed you that they were intruders.
The date
The record of the 17th of October.
The year?
2024.
Yes, I'm listening, my lord.
It reads as follows. The record of the 17th of October 2024. Page 19, line 10. Mr. Gininda, that is you, Brigadier. You were responding to a question by my colleague, Advocate Baloy. So one of the things that I looked at, my lord, obviously, when I looked at the docket was to establish that according to the preliminary statement which the defense has, there was a report that one of the cell phones belonging to Miss Kelly Kumalo was robbed. That was one of the allegations that was said there, close quotation. Do you confirm the record, Brigadier?
Yes, I do confirm, my lord.
Ngiyavuma ke uma kuwukuthi lokho kubhaliwe ke lapho ukuthi ke ezinye zeinsoloko kwakuwukuthi umakhalekhukhwini noma ke i-cellphone kaMiss Kelly Khumalo ke yathathwa ke lapho.
This phone has been termed as a runaway phone. Do you confirm, because it took the direction to the hostel, that is Basutwini hostel?
That is correct, my lord. It's the S4. My recollection is the S4 Samsung cell phone, my lord.
Mangikhumbula kahle ke lomakhalekhukhwini ke i-S4 i-Samsung ilona ke uma bekhulunywa ke lana kuthiwa ke i-runaway phone ngoba ke yaya ngakuhlangothi langase hostel.
To whom did this cell phone belong, Brigadier?
To Miss Kelly Kumalo, the affidavit is there, my lord. If you look at the statements, Zandi says that, Zandi's mother says that, it's containing the statements of the people who are inside the house, my lord, particularly the two names that I've referred to.
I-cellphone lena ke kuyashiwo ukuthi kwakuyeyakhe uMiss Kelly Khumalo, sikhona istatement sakhe uZandile Khumalo nesikama wakhe esikushoyo lokho.
But it is also containing the statements of the police officers who applied for Section 205 when they indicate which phone belongs to whom.
Nakwi-statement futhi ke samaphoyisa ekuyiwona enza isicelo se-Section 205 mabesho ke ukuthi umakhalekhukhwini kabani.
In terms of the numbers, my lord.
Ngokwamanamba.
Is it correct, Brigadier, that the last activity in this cell phone was on the 26th of October 2014 at 2100 hours 53 minutes 44 seconds, and the tower was 3G Moleleki WTSGS?
I do recall Muleleki Tower, my lord, and the time that Advocate Kumalo is telling me, my lord.
Ngiyakhumbula ke itower imuleleki na nesikhathi ke lesi asishoyo ke uAdvocate Nxumalo 2153 ngazo ke i26 October 2014 ukuthi ke ugcina kwale phone ke ukuthi isetshenziswe.
Is it also correct that in respect of this cell phone, it forms part of the counts in the indictment, that is the count of robbery with aggravating circumstances? Have you had sight of the indictment, Brigadier?
My lord, I think that is the terrain for the NPA because I don't want to be dragged in there. I know there were charges that were preferred against the accused, so I don't want to. I know there is a charge of armed robbery in relation of armed robbery. I know there is one, my lord. But I was not involved in the drafting of the charges. That is a terrain of the NPA, my lord.
Ngiyazi ke ukuthi ke likhona ke icala abathweswayo ke lokubamba inkunzi kuhlonyiwe ke kodwa ke lapho ngangasiyona ke ingcenye yokuthi ke kushiwo ke noma kuhlanganiswa amacala abawathweswayo ke uhlangothi lolo lwe-NPA noma abashushisi.
What are you saying, Brigadier? Are you saying that you haven't had sight of the indictment? We haven't read the indictment to see what is contained
No,
there?
but my lord, I said I know there is a charge of armed robbery. I just said it now, my lord.
Ngishilo ngathi ngiyazi ukuthi likhona icala abathweswayo ke lokubamba inkunzi kuhlonyiwe.
Just for completeness, Brigadier, of these questions, count 3 is it reference to the count of robbery with aggravating circumstances, and it reads as follows. In that upon or about the 26th of October 2014 and at or near Fostoras in the district of Boksburg, the accused did unlawful intentional assault Miss Kelly Kumalo and Gladness Kumalo, and did with force and violence take a Samsung S4 cell phone, the property or in lawful possession of Miss Kelly Kumalo and or Gladness Kumalo, and did rob her of the same, aggravating circumstances being present in that the accused made use of a firearm. So the final answer, Brigadier, to the questions that I've asked you earlier, you are saying that this phone, the S4 cell phone, Samsung S4, belonged to Miss Kelly Kumalo,
Yes, that's what the statement says, my lord.
not Business Kumalo.
No, my lord, the court will recall, I've said it is contained in the statement of Gladness Kumalo and Zandi Kumalo, because that's where you hear them referring to the S4 Samsung cell phone. I've said this, my lord, before this was read to me.
Ngaphambi kokuthi ke le statement lesi noma lokhu kufundwe ke kumina ke ngishilo ngathi ke khona ku statement sakhe uGladness Khumalo noZandile ukuthi yebo i-cellphone lena i-S4 yakhe uKelly Khumalo.
Brigadier, what is the status of Kelly Kumalo, Miss Kelly Kumalo? Is he a suspect or the complainant, the witness in this case? What is her status?
My lord, she's a person of interest. That's how I can label it. I mean, person of interest, I mean, we went through this exercise, my lord. I've applied for the warrant of arrest for her based on the evidence that was before me. We dealt with this portion. So you will not apply for the warrant of arrest if a person is not a suspect in a matter. And so I'm not sure. She's not an accused before court. That's what I can say, my lord. Currently, she's not an accused before court, and that's how I can answer it.
Nanjengamanje ke akasiyena ke ummangaleli noma umsola ke phambi kwale nkantolo noma ke ohlezi la enkantolo kodwa ke ngishilo ke ukuthi ngasenza ke isicelo noma ke i-application phecelezi ke yayo i-warrant of arrest incwadi yokuthi aboshwe ke kodwa ke akekho la phambi kwenkantolo awukwazi ke ukuthi ke ungenza leso sicelo ke uma umuntu engasiyena umsola.
So, she's not the complainant. She's a person of interest, a suspect.
A complainant on what matter, my lord?
In respect of this case, one of the allegations, as I've read to you the indictment, Brigadier, is with reference to the robbery. She's a complainant in respect of the robbery. Count 3 of the indictment. So I'm basing this question on the fact that when I read the indictment, the count, that is count 3, she's a complainant in that count. So she can't be a suspect at the same time, or a person of interest.
Please, I think we've traversed this issue before. I don't know why this question is being repeated. The evidence has been presented, and this is a determination that will be made at the conclusion of the case as to what role any person, including Ms. Kelly Kumalo, played in the incident. It's not for this witness to already at this stage to give an opinion.
Yes, sir.
Brigadier, I must say that the way the investigations were conducted, it's flawed because the police say this person is a suspect. On the other hand, the Director of Public Prosecution, when drafting indictment, she's a complainant.
Please, my lord, I think the witness doesn't need to. Advocate Nxumalo is entitled to his opinion. We submit that the witness doesn't have to respond to that. The witness will disclose, the evidence will disclose what, at the end of the case, what transpired on the day.
In respect of this count, Brigadier, what then should we follow? Should we follow your line of thought that Ms. Kelly Kumalo is a suspect or a person of interest, or she is the complainant in this case?
I don't know what is it that Advocate Nxumalo doesn't understand. We stood up to say that is the evidence will reveal what the respective roles of the various parties was. It's not for this witness to give an opinion.
Again, you testified about Kelly being a person of interest, the mastermind in the commission of the offense, but the indictment is telling us something totally different. I'll proceed with the question that I want to ask Brigadier. Before I proceed, Brigadier, I wish to take you to the affidavit it forms part of the record. That is an affidavit of Mthokozisi Twala. It is Exhibit P4, my lord, of the record, at paragraph 14. It reads as follows. I didn't see the suspect taking any cell phone in the house, but later heard that the suspect took Kelly's cell phone. The cell phone was on the charger. Sorry. The cell phone was on charge, was this plasma. Remember that Kelly I remember that Kelly removed my cell phone from the same charger and placed her cell phone. Maybe if I can repeat this paragraph. Paragraph 14. I didn't see the suspect taking any cell phone in the house, but I later heard that the suspect took Kelly's cell phone. The cell phone was on the charger near the plasma. I remember that Kelly removed my cell phone from the same charger and placed her cell phone. Close quotation.
Angizange ngibabone abasola noma umsola bethatha i-cellphone kodwa kamuva ngezwa ukuthi ke bathatha i-cellphone yakhe uKelly. Ngiyakhumbula i-cellphone leyo ke yayi-charger eduze nayo ke i-plasma. Ngiyamkhumbula futhi uKelly ukuthi wakhipha eyami wafaka eyakhe.
My lord, before I get to the question, the suggestion that the investigation is flawed by Advocate Khumalo, I think it's baseless and really completely misleading. He has the copy of the docket and he has seen what evidence we've collected. So to say it is flawed or fraud, I'm not so sure. I didn't get that. Yeah.
Don't use those words.
Yeah, no. But even that is completely misleading because the evidence that we've collected speaks for itself. That is the first part, my lord. Now, when it comes to the evidence of Mthokozisi Twala, my lord, it is not for me, and I will, greatest respect, say to Advocate Kumalo that I was not in court when Mthokozisi Kumalo testified. I was not there when that statement was taken. It was before my time, so I'm not sure how can I assist. I did not commission that statement. I was not here when he testified, was not there when he was interviewed, and subsequently that statement taken. How could I then assist, my lord?
Okokuqala ke angiphendula ke kudaba ke alishilo Advocate Nxumalo ukuthi ke ukufaka uphenyo alwenziwanga ngendlela noma ke indlela olwenziwe ngayo akusiyona. Unabo ke imininingwane unayo futhi ke idokodo istatement kuyena ke uma esho ngaleyo ndlela ke angihambisani ke naloko akushoyo. Okwesibili uMthokozisi Twala kathi ke thula ubufakazi ngangingekho la enkantolo, angazi ukuthi ngalekelela kanjani ke lapho nokuthi ke akusimina owathatha noma ke owabhala lesa statement sakhe kwenzeka lokho ngaphambi kwesikhathi sami.
And lastly, my lord, he came to testify. I know we made arrangements for him to come to court, so those issues should have been canvassed with him.
Futhi ke ngiyazi ukuthi wayekhona ke la enkantolo ezothula ke ubufakazi bakhe, izinto lezo ke ekwakufanele ukuthi ke zisiwe noma zibuzwe kuyena.
Maybe before I proceed, Brigadier, is Miss Kelly Kumalo going to come to this court and testify? Do you know?
But my lord, I don't. There's separation of.
As a court, please, my lord, it's the discretion of the state to decide which witness to call. It's not the call of the investigating officer to decide. It's for the state to decide which witnesses to call. And at the end of the state case, we'll make all the witnesses that haven't been called available to the defense.
Yes, Mr.
My lord, with the greatest of respect, can Advocate Baloyi indicate at this juncture, at this moment, whether Ms. Kelly Kumalo is going to be called? Because I have questions that I have learned for my cross-examination. Advocate Baloyi to indicate at this juncture if Ms. Kelly Kumalo is going to be called.
Now he says the state will decide at the end of its evidence.
Or not now?
That's what he says, not me.
Yeah, I do get you, my lord. Thank you.
He says he'll decide at the end of the state's case, and if there are witnesses which have not testified,
Yes.
the state is going to make them available to the defense.
I'm raising this issue, my lord, because he had indicated, that is
Hello?
Advocate Baloyi indicated that Brigadier Gininda is the last witness for the state. So I want to know now whether any further witnesses are going to be called. That
Yeah,
was the
why don't you
indication
wait
that
until the
was made.
state closes his case? I don't know too. They may call other witnesses. I don't know.
Thank you, my lord.
Maybe to come to Advocate Nxumalo's rescue, we are on record. Several occasions, we said we're not going to call Ms. Kelly Kumalo. If he wants us to repeat it, we are
Oh, I see.
repeating it. We're not going to call her.
There you have the answer, sir.
I'm answered, my lord. Thank you. Brigadier, the record of the 2nd of August 2023, that is the evidence of Mthokozi Sithwala. At page 30 of the proceedings of the 2nd of August 2023, it reads as follows. At line 19, it is a question by my colleague Advocate Baloyi to the witness Mthokozi Sithwala. Yes, you may proceed, Mr. Sithwala. Before the adjournment, you told the court that you were charging your phone next to the TV stand and that Ms. Kelly Kumalo unplugged your phone and then plugged in hers. What happened further? The response by Mr. Sithwala is as follows. What I remember is that my phone was still on the stand because I thought that once she had done charging, she will then put my phone back. We were seated just chatting, each and every person drinking whatever he or she bought, close quotation. Sorry, Brigadier, I'm not done. So, the essence of me, Brigadier, raising these issues, the issue of the statement, the affidavit of Mthokozi Sithwala, and the record of the 2nd of August 2023 is in relation to the fact that the cell phone of Ms. Kelly Kumalo was on the stand, on the charger. Do you understand, Brigadier?
I'm listening, my lord.
Yes.
No, but I thought the question is coming, my lord. I'm
No,
listening.
I'm still continuing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Kulesi statement besiqeda ukufundwa ke akusona ke statement but ke ubufakazi bakhe Mthokozi Sithwala ebuza uyena ke uadvocate Baloyi ukuthi ke ushilo ke ukuthi ke ifone yakho yayicharger wase ekhipha ke emuva kwalokho ukheli wafaka eyakhe kwese kwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho ngangilindele ukuthi ke noma ngangimileke ngibhekile ukuthi ke kuzothi ke kamuva ke akhiphe eyakhe abe esebuyisela eyami ifone.
Constable Mia, who was a constable at that time, attended the crime scene, Brigadier. On the 27th of October 2014, at about 12 hours 20 minutes on the morning of the 27th of October 2014, he attended the crime scene at 13511 Kutwanong Street, Mzamo section, extension 11, Phosphorus, and took photos, 8 photos, and compiled a photo album which was handed in as Exhibit C of the record. Are you aware of the photo album with photos which was photographed or taken by Constable Mia on the 27th of October 2014?
Yes, I'm aware of crime scene photos, my lord, that were taken by Constable Mia.
Ngiyazi ke ithombe zendawo ke yesigameko ezathathwa kuyena ke Constable Mia ke ngaleso sikhathi warrant officer Mia.
Or rather, my lord, I'm aware that he attended the crime scene and that crime scene photos were taken. I'm not sure whether he's the one actually used the camera, so just to put it in the right context. But I'm aware that there were photos taken on that day and that he attended. But I don't recall whether he was the actual photographer as well as this crime scene analyst as well.
Ngiyazi ukuthi wayeyileke lapho nokuthi kunezithombe ke zathathwa ke lapho kodwa ukuthi uyena wayesebenzisa icamera angikwazi lokho.
is the one who was using the camera. He took 8 photos and compiled the photo album Exhibit C of the record.
I'm listening, my lord.
So I'm trying to correct you, Brigadier, that he told this court that he's the one who took photos. So I want you to understand that.
I will not dispute, my lord. That's the thing, my lord, because I was not here when he testified. If that's what he said, it's not in dispute, my lord.
Uma kuwukuthi yena-ke wathi uyena-ke iy'thombe lezo wayithwethula angeke ikufikise lokho.
He told this court, Brigadier, that he took the 8 photos and could not take further photos because of the quality that the camera was producing. Do you understand that, Brigadier?
I'm listening, my lord. I can only listen because it will be difficult, my lord. And that is the same with the first part where I was saying I'm waiting for the question, the part of Mr. Twala of what he said in this court. I was not in court. I'm not sure really how could I assist in that evidence. And I think the same notion applies to Warrant Officer Musia. I was not here when he testified. What he told the court was not privy to me. So I don't know how could really I assist with what he said to this court, my lord.
Ngizokwenza-ke lokhu nanjengoba bengishilo nakuyena-ke umthokozisi-ke engakwenza ukuthi ngilaleleke ngangekho enkantolo ukuthi-ke ngingaphendula-ke ngisho ukuthi-ke kwenzekani-ke ngobufakazi bakhe.
My lord, I see that my client's hand is up. May I approach him?
Yes.
Thank you, my lord, for the court's indulgence. Because of the quality of the camera that he was using, he took only 8 photos per day. I then requested Constable Mia for the master copy of the docket of this case from the local criminal record center. The master copy Brigadier came back and with additional photos. May I hand the copy to the Brigadier, my lord?
Yeah,
Yes, my lord. I see what has been handed to me.
Yes. The master copy Brigadier came back with the additional photos. Of in importance, Brigadier, are the 2 photos at the top. Do you see the 2 photos at the top there?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah,
Where there is a cell phone on the TV stand.
I can see that, my lord.
Yes.
Ngiyabona-ke le ithombe embili ephezulu ne-cellphone kanye ne-TV stand.
Arising from the photos that he brought, the photos that form part of the master copy, the following questions were put to Constable Mia on the 5th of September 2023. By myself. At line number 18, Mr. Khumalo, Warrant Officer, you did not include the 2 photos, that is the previous one, and that photo in the photo album, Exhibit C. Mr. Mia, I do not have a reason. I do not have any reason in particular. The photographs are arranged in accordance with my crime scene. If I see that perhaps it does not really have a good quality as well, it is a photograph that I'm going to put aside. But there is not any reason in particular. Close quotation.
I'm listening, my lord. I'm not sure if Atwek Khumalo is done.
So what Constable Mia is saying, Brigadier, that he had no reason in particular not to include the 2 photos depicting the cellular phone which is on the stand. You understand that?
Yes, I understand what is being put to me, my lord.
Ngiyakuzwa lokho okushiwo kumina ke lokho kubhalwe lana ke warrant officer kusho yena ke Mr. Nxumalo ungani ke ungazange uyifake ke noma zibe ingxenye izithombe leziya ezimbili. That is the biggest one in that. Lesi sangaphambilini kanye naleso isithombe kwi-album exhibit C umephendula ke uMsiya anginaso izathu noma ke izathu nje sithizeni izithombe zihlengwa ke noma zihlelwa ke ngokwendlela ke noma indawo yesigameko engayo uma ngiyabona ukuthi ke isithombe asiphumanga kahle noma ke equality yakho na ke ayikho kahle kuyisithombe engizosibeka eceleni kodwa ke asikho nje izathu esitheni.
Constable Mia further told this court, Brigadier, that he took those 2 photos amongst the photos that he took, which are forming part of Exhibit C of the record, at about 1 on the morning of the 27th of October 2014. That is the following day of the incident.
I'm listening, my lord.
Ngilalele uma uthi ke izithombe lezo wazithatha ke ngo-1 isikhathi entathakusa ke ngazo i-27 October 2014.
Constable Mia further told this court that he did not complete the whole procedure, that is of the taking of the photos, because he had to attend to other crime scenes. Do you understand that?
Yes, I'm following, my lord.
Ushilo ke futhi Constable Mia ke ukuthi ke akaqhubeke kangaka ukuthi aqedeleleke ngoba kwakufanele ukuthi ke aye kwezinye indawo zezigameko. Yebo ngilalele.
So he did not conduct any further consultations with the witnesses who were inside the house, including Ms. Kumalo, in respect of this case. You relied on the statements that were in the docket when you received it.
Is that, excuse me, is that a question, my lord? Sorry, is that now a question to me?
Yes, it's a question to you. There is no consultation, Brigadier, that you had with the witnesses who were inside the house in connection with this case.
No, but that's not what I said, my lord, earlier, with greatest respect. I did indicate the witnesses that we saw, including Ms. Khumalo Senior, the mother. I testified about this. I also made mention of the 2 friends of the Senzo, Tumelo Madlala, as well as Togosi Sitwala. I also, and I'm repeating it again, my lord, that we also consulted with Zandile Kumalo. So I've said these things, my lord. So that is the first part insofar what the question is saying. Secondly, my lord, there is forensic evidence, objective evidence, that indicates that the runaway phone was on 1 tower before the incident happened. After the incident has taken place, when the people who were inside the house could be accounted for at the clinics, at the hospital, the runaway phone was in a different tower. It's forensic, in my view, objective evidence, my lord. It speaks for itself. It's not man-made or someone saying this. The phone is picked up by Muleleki Tower, and that's where it was. Now, what has been shown to me, my lord, is a picture of a phone which we do not know who was the owner of this phone. But also, my lord, what Sergeant or Warrant Officer Mia said, as I've said earlier, I was not in court when Warrant Officer Mia testified, and I don't know how best can I. It is not my responsibility, my lord, to evaluate what the witness said before this court. So it's I'm not sure how can I assist even Advocate Khumalo in what he's putting to me, because it is not my position, my lord, to evaluate or to. I was not even in court, so it's difficult for me to assist him in what he's putting it to me, insofar as the evidence that was led in this court, my lord.
Bengikushilo ke lokho ngaphambilini ukuthi ke bakhona ke ufakazi ke esakhuluma ke nabo ngikhulumile ke ngaye uMakhumalo, ngikhulumile ngaye ke uZandile Khumalo kanye futhi ke nabangani ke bongasekho uSenzo Meyiwa, uTumelo kanye naye ke uMthokozisi. Mayelana ke lana ke ngitshengiswa ke umakhalekhukhwini kwisithombe lesi engazi nokuthi ke okabanike, kodwa ke kunobufakazi ke obukhona ke akusiyena umuntu othi kwenzeka lokho kodwa ubufakazi obushoyo ukuthi ke ngesikhathi esithizeni kwakuyithawa ethize la le phone eyayiqoshwa khona ke kodwa kathi ke kamuva kwesiganeko uma abanye abantu bese clinics kodwa yona ke le iphone yena ke iyabe itholakala ngaphansi kwenye ithawa ubufakazi ke obukhona ke lobo ukuthi ke uwarrant officer Msia yini ayishilo enkantolo angazi ke ukuthi ngalekelela kanjani lapho.
As I have indicated to you, Brigadier, that Constable Mia came with this information of this cell phone.
This is going down.
Can I have the
This is going down.
My lord, I don't understand. Is the assertion that this cell phone is the one that was taken, so-called runaway phone? Because I'm trying to make sense. Like I said, forensic evidence speaks for itself as to what happened to that phone. What Warrant Officer Msia said in this court, I was not here, my lord. There's very little I can assist Advocate Khumalo in that regard.
Angazi ke ukuthi ke lana ke ingabe okusho Advocate Khumalo ukuthi ke lo makhalekhukhwini ovezwe lana uwona lona ke owathathwa ke wase uya ke kolunye uhlangothi ukuthi ke yini eyakhulunywa Warrant Officer Msia la enkantolo akukho engasiza ngakho.
Constable Mia came with that information, Brigadier, on the 5th of September 2023, and he provided this information to us as well as the state. Is there an investigation that has been done in order to identify the owner of that cell phone, which is appearing there?
As a court case, Mr. Tumelo Madlala testified regarding this phone on the 7th of August 2023, page 36. He said he had a Samsung X3 white in color, and we've handed up, my lord, a list of all the phones that were confiscated, which include this particular phone.
Umshushisi uthi ke uTumela Madlala ke ubufakazi abethula ke washo ukuthi wayene Samsung S3 eyayimhlophe ngombala futhi ke kunama phones ke noma ke uhla lwama phones afaka phakathi ke nayo ke le iphone.
To sum up on this aspect, Brigadier, I must put it to you that there is no runaway phone. The phone that is depicted there is the phone that belonged to Miss Kelly Kumalo, the S4 cell
It's
phone.
not correct, my lord. We just put on record the evidence of Mr. Madlala. That proposition is not correct.
Akusilona ke iqiniso lokho qedwe show yena ke Advocate Khumalo ukuthi ke ayikho iphone yathathwa ke lapha ukuthi yona ke le phone siqeda ukusho ke manje noma umshushisi uthi uqeda ukusho ke manje ukuthi uTumela Madlala wathola ke ubufakazi ngalo makhalekhukhwini wathi owakhe.
Tumela Madlala, my lord, testified that his cell phone, when the incident was happening, he went to the bedroom, in one of the bedrooms, where he hid his cell phone amongst the blankets on the bed. So it is not correct that the cell phone that is depicted there belongs to Tumela Madlala.
Yeah, I'm listening. You want me to comment on the evidence? I'm not going to.
I'm responding, my lord, to
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
submission by my colleague
Fine.
Advocate, my lord. So I put it to you, Brigadier, that there is no runaway phone in this case.
No, but my lord, but that's misleading. There's forensic evidence speaking to that. I'm not sure now what is the assertion that evidence that is forensic and objective is compromised. I don't understand. There's evidence that the phone that was on the same tower before the incident happened was picked up at a different tower. It's there, my lord. I mean, I don't understand this assertion. And there was an incident, my lord, where, so you cannot correlate, you need to look at the events as how they unfolded, my lord. You cannot say when someone says, when the incident happened, I ran away, I hid my phone under the blanket. Then you ignore as to what happened until the forensic team arrived, because there were events that took place. That happened, subsequently the deceased was discovered that he shot, they moved the deceased to the hospital. There was movement. There was cell phone location of where that phone was. It speaks for itself, my lord. Subsequent to that, then they came back to the crime scene. And that's when the police then came to sort of like calm the scene. So it's not an isolated situation as if like when Tumelo Madala went to the bedroom and hid his phone, he remained there until the police arrived. There were activities, they left, they came back, and the cell phone movement in terms of the analysis indicate what was happening insofar as his cell phone is concerned, but insofar as the runaway phone, which is completely incorrect with greatest respect to Advocate Nxumalo and misleading if he says there's no runaway phone, because there's objective forensic evidence that indicates that phone went to the Muleleki Tower.
Akulona ke iqiniso nokuthi ke futhi ke ukukhohlisa ke uma uadvocate Kumalo ethi ke ayukho ifone eyathathwa ke khona lapha ukuthi uTumelo Madlala athi wathatha ke emakhalekhukhwini wakhe wase eyobeka ke ekamereni noma ewufaka ngaphansi kwazonke ingubo. Kukhona ke okwenzekile ke kusona leso sikhathi kuhanjiwe kwayiwa ke esibhedlela ngoba kwatholakala ukuthi ke umufi udutshuliwe useshonile futhi wahanjiswa ke wasiwe esibhedlela kwabuywa ke futhi ke kunobufakazi obukhona ke phambi kwenkantolo lena ke la ekwacwane kwakhona ke kwatholakala ukuthi ke kune phone uma ngathi amanye ama phone etholakala kwithawa ethize yona ke yabe ikwithawa ehlukile.
But there is no evidence from Tumelo Madlala that at some point his phone was on charger on a TV stand. The only evidence, that is why I had to refer you to the record and the statement of Mthokozi Sithwala. The only cell phone, the Samsung S4 cell phone, which was on charger, when Constable Mia arrived at the scene and took photos, was the S4 cell phone belonging to Miss Kelly Kumalo.
No, but who says that, my lord? Because I don't recall seeing that evidence in the docket that the S4 of Miss Kelly Kumalo was found by the police. Contrary to that, it was taken. Where is that? It's not in the docket.
Akukho la ngithola khona noma ke ngibona khona kwidokodo ukuthi ke ifoni yakhe Miss Kelly Kumalo yatholwa amaphoyisa. Akukho la kwidokodo kukhona lokho.
Which is what I was saying, Brigadier, earlier, indicating to you that this information of the photos of the cell phone on the TV stand came with Constable Mia on the 5th of September 2023, and nothing was done about that information.
But my
Up
lord,
to now.
My lord, I thought Advocate Baloyi just read the record of Tumelo Madlala indicating that this is his cell phone. And I'm saying there's objective evidence of cell phones that were inside the house in terms of their movement and where they were. And that is why you are able to see that when the others were moving to a certain direction, including the one that remained, I think it was put to me by Mr. Ramsipele that I think of the mother remained at the scene. This one that was taken off Miss Kelly Kumalo went to a different direction, and no one could account as to who was in possession of this phone except the intruders, because all the people who were inside the house could be accounted for at the hospital. That is the forensic evidence that is in the docket. There is nothing that suggests or indicates that that phone of Miss Kelly Kumalo was actually at the crime scene and was found by the police. There's no such assertion, my lord.
Akukho ke okushoyo ke noma ke kutholakalayo ukuthi ke le cell phone lena ke yakhe uKelly Khumalo yayikhona lapha kwindawo yesigameko nokuthi yatholwa amaphoyisa. Ubufakazi ke buthi ke inkathi ke ama phone amanye lana etholakala kwithawa ethize yona ke ifone leyo yaya kwithawa ehlukile, futhi akekho ke umuntu owayekwazi ukuthi ayiphendule noma isho leyo ngaphandle ke kwabantu labo abangena ngaphakathi endlini.
One of the factors, Brigadier, was the issue of the DNA. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember, my lord.
Yebo ngiyakhumbula ke udaba ke mayelana nayo ke iDNA ulibofuzo.
You testified that the DNA in respect of the head which was found at the crime scene excluded the persons who were inside the house.
That is correct, my lord.
Ngishilo ke ukuthi yebo ke kulokho ke okwatholakala ukuthi kulo DNA leyo ke yayibakhipha ke abantu ababengaphakathi endlini.
My recollection, my lord, it was that the DNA that was picked up or collected insofar as that would have been donated by the suspects excluded everyone that was inside the house, and I read the exclusion markings except I think Ms. Kumalo, who was read in the Smirnoff can.
Engikushilo ke ngikhumbulayo ke ukuthi ke lokho kwatholakala ke ngokumayela nabo ke basola kubakhipha labo ababesendlini ke ngaphandle kwakhe uMzandile Khumalo ke yena ke okwatholakala ke okwakhe kwikani leSmirnoff
or a liquor can, my lord, even if it's not Smirnoff. But I remember reading something that her DNA was read into that can, and that correlates with the fact that they were sitting and drinking. But insofar as the foreign DNA, they were excluded, my lord.
Noma ke ngasona ke iSmirnoff kodwa ke khona ke nje ikanti etshwala ke atholakala ngoba ke lokho kuyahambisana ke nokuthi babehlizwi ke lapho bephuza.
Yes, the report is contained in Exhibit B7 of the record.
Yes, my lord.
At point 13, the Scotch head, that is a description of the exhibit, the Scotch head, it excludes suspects. The suspects were all persons who were inside the house. That is Mthokozi Sithwala, Kelly Kumalo, Tumelo Madlala, Longwe Twala, Zandile Kumalo, and Gladness Kumalo. So all these persons who were referred as suspects were excluded from the DNA of the Scotch head. You confirm that?
I agree, my lord.
Ngiyavuma ke uma kuqhamuka isigqoko esatholakala lapha bonke labantu ababesendlini ke amagama abo afundiwe obabechazwa ke nanjengabasola ukuthi ke akukho kwabo kwatholakala kulesi sigqoko.
Brigadier, there was also a report from the Biology Science Laboratory in Pretoria. It was compiled by Captain Mamshedi Phineas Masetla. It was handed in as Exhibit X12 of the record. Did you have sight of that report?
I was not in court obviously when he testified, my lord, but yes, I had sight of his report, the biology expert, my lord.
Uma ke uMasetla ethula ubufakazi ngangekho enkantolo kodwa yebo umbiko wakhe wona ngawubona.
Did you analyze the report?
No, but my lord, I think we dealt with this part. When I tried to venture into that, I was told I'm not an expert. And I was referring to what I uncovered in consultation with the biology expert, to say when he was briefing me insofar as the analysis in particular of this accused, what he told me, but there was aggressive objection in that part, so I'm not sure now, I'm not so sure, my lord, how to deal with this now.
That objection didn't come from me, Brigadier.
No, it didn't, but it was the defense, my lord.
It did not come from me.
Kwakunenkinga ekhona ke uma ngangifuna ukuthi ngikhulume ngawo lo mbiko ke ngatshelwa ukuthi angisiyena ungoti kulokho yasho ku advocate Kumalo ukuthi kwangasimina ke lowo owayenenkinga.
Understood, my lord. In fairness, advocate Kumalo didn't object, so that's accurate.
The report, that is the report by Captain Masetla, Brigadier, it also excluded all the accused in respect of the Scotch head, which was found on the crime scene. That is according to the report by Captain Masetla.
Yeah, but you see, my lord, this is where we differ, and this is why I keep on saying you need to read this thing in its entirety. I've been saying this selection, it is not the same, my lord, as when you read the DNA of the people who were inside the house. There's complete exclusion. It is different with regard to this accused when the expert, and this was in consultation with him, where he says, I can read some of the accused in terms of the markers, but I do not have enough to make a conclusive finding, and therefore I'm going to say I'm excluding them. But it's a different situation, my lord, when he says there's complete exclusion. That's how I understood it. So we are not sitting with a report where he says, I cannot read them. He can read some of them, he explains who those he can read, and he gave reasons to me to say because they don't reach or meet this region. I think it's 16 markers that they need. He therefore, as an expert, cannot say he can read them, my lord.
Lana ke ingakho bengishilo ngaphambilini ukuthi ke umbiko lo noma mawubukwa ke noma ubhekwa ke akufanelanga ukuthi ke ufundeke noma ubheke indawo ethizeni kodwa ke ngokuphelele akufani ke nabantu ke abasendlini la kwatholakala ukuthi bona ke akukho kwabo ukutholakalayo lapho kodwa ke uma kuza kubasolwa ke washo ke uma ngihleli naye phansi ungodi lona ke ukuthi bakhona ke kubasola engikwazi ukuthi ke uthola ukuthi khona kwabo ukutholakalayo la kodwa ngoba ke kune number thizeni noma ke inani elithize ekufanele litholakale kodwa uma lingatholakali ke ngizothi ke cha abatholakala noma ke akukho okwabo ukutholakalayo.
Yes, when I said read them a lot, I'm referring to reading them into the DNA. In other words, it didn't say to me we have 5 accused, these donors are completely excluded. There are those that he was able to exclude to say this one's completely zero. But there were others where he can read certain markers, my lord, but he gave an explanation that because they are not enough, he will not be able to make a conclusion. And this is the part I dealt with when there was this objection, my lord. And that is why I'm saying when you read this report, you can't just concentrate on the exclusion and ignore what the expert is telling you above, because it's one statement. It's telling you what he has done, what he has picked up, and it will form then a guidance of what you can, pursue.
Futhi ke engikushoyo noma ke ayekusho ke yena ukuthi asithi manje sihlezi ke nalabasolwa ke abahlanu lana ke asho ukuthi bakhona ke lana ongatholi lutho ke bayabakhipha ke bonke kodwa bakhona ke laba obonayo ukuthi ke yebo ke kukhona okwabo ukutholakala kodwa ngenxa ke yokuthi kunalama markers ke abawashoyo bona noma u7 noma u16 uma ungakutholi konke lokho ke yila umuntu umkhipha khona ke kodwa ke akufani nala khona ke ukuthi nje akunalutho oltholayo futhi ke ingakho ngisho ukuthi umbiko wakho umufunda awukhethi nje okuthize kodwa uqala phezulu ke yila akutshela khona ukuthi ngenzeni ngase ngitholane egcineni.
This is what Captain Maseta said from the Forensic Science Laboratory. From the record of the 10th of October 2023 at page 2 of the record, line 13. My lord, what is important before I start checking whether I can find that DNA in the swab or in the head is that for us to say a person is included, you have to include the person in all the DNA regions. So reading a person in one single region does not mean that that person is included in the mixture, close quotation.
But that's what I'm saying, my lord. For him to make a conclusive finding, he must read them in all. In other words, my lord, if there are 16, and that's my recollection, they must all tick. If he's running short of 2, if he's got only 14, he can't pronounce on the inclusion. That's how I understand the report and what it discussed to me. We are saying what has been read to me is what is my understanding, my lord.
Akuqeda ufunda ke manje ke mina ke indlela ke nami engizwa ngayo ngiyazi ukuthi ke inumber u16 uthi ke yena ke uma entshela ke noma ke engikwaziyo ke uma kutholakala ukuthi ke umuntu noma ke iDNA itholakala ke marker awu14 loya 2 oseleke uzosho ukuthi ke cha uyamkhipha ngoba ke kufanele ukuthi ingeneke kuona onke noma ke kuthikeke kulawo marker awu16 ephelele.
So in essence, Brigadier, we are on the same page. I don't know what is causing this whole debate.
No, we are not in the same page.
We are in the same page.
No, we
Brigadier.
are not. You are referring to the complete exclusion. He refers to regions, what I call markers. You then cannot ignore what he says, for example, on region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4, up to region 16. Because then if you're looking at the evidence objectively, you need to see if in all these regions, if there are 16, is he completely excluding your client, for example, or not? And if he reads them according to his expertise, you can't ignore that. It's there. And if it's not there, then yes, we're on the same page. My understanding of that report is not what it's saying. There's no complete exclusion. If you go, there are accused where he will say complete, but others in the regions can be read. And I'm saying based on what is contained in the report and what he said to me when we consulted.
Asikhulume noma asisho ke into eyodwa ngoba wena ke mawukhuluma ke ukhuluma ngokuthi nje cha akutholakali lutho kodwa yena ke indlela asho ngayo noma ayichaza ngayo ke ukuthi yebo bakhona basolwa abangatholakali uma ubheka kodwa bakhona ke labo uma ke uhamba ngalama regions ngokulandelelana kwawo ke abatholakalayo asithi ke mhlambe ke isibonelo uma iclient yakho itholakala kwe region eyodwa kodwa ke kuhlukile nokuthi ke awutholakali nje kuma region onke kodwa kufanele uhambe ngalo ma region ngokulandelana kwawo.
Where we agree, my lord, is that at the end he was unable to link them and he made the exclusion. There we agree, but not that he could not find any of the accused in the regions.
La esivumelana khona ukuthi ke egcineni ushilo ke ukuthi ngenxa ke yokuthi akuphelele noma ke akutholakala kuma regions onke ke uyabakhipha ke yila esivumelana khona.
In respect of my client, Mr. Mapisa, on the 10th of October 2023 at page 5 of the record, line 20, Captain Masetla says the following. So for us to read somebody, we have to read that particular person in all the DNA readings. So in that case, we will not continue with Mapisa because we can see that he is excluded in that particular swab. So we will just do the head as well on the same suspect, which is Mapisa.
My lord, and we're now going back to the evidence that was led before this court when I'm not here. Because if one has to look at the Captain Masetla's evidence, one will have to be acquainted with the entire record. Now I was not in court, so a piece of his evidence, which is clear from what is being read, that is coming from somewhere, and it would have continued at the bottom. It's selected. How do I assist, my lord? And that's why I said, if it comes to where myself and Advocate Mnisi are in agreement, is that the conclusion was that there's exclusion. Here we agree. But the reading, it's where now I'm saying some of the accused are read. So the portion that is reading to me refers to the exclusion, and I'm in agreement with him. But I'm saying in the regions, you need to analyze each accused according to the regions as to what the expert is saying. Then you can then comfortably make that conclusion that indeed he doesn't appear in all the regions, and then it's a complete exclusion. But if he reads them in some of the regions, as much as he says, my lord, yes, I'm excluding them, but he gives reasons that because I don't have all the markers, there's a medical term that they're using, my lord, they are not fitting in. He can therefore not pronounce that there is a link, my lord.
Is it Mnisi or
Nxumalo. So, sorry, my apologies, not that we get Mnisi.
Lana ke okushoyo ke noma ke inkulumo la eyokuthi ngishaphinda futhi ke sibuyele emuva ke la ngifundela khona ubufakazi enkathi ke ngangekho enkantolo angizwanga ukuthi ufakazi leyo uthini ke kodwa ke engikushoyo noma engakusho mina ke ukuthi kufanele uma sifunda umbiko wakhe ke yena ke uCaptain Masetla ukunala ashoyo ke khona ukuthi lo umsolwa cha noma ke uwabheka o16 ke lama regions akatholakali nakoyodwa kula u16 kodwa ke bakhona ke la athi khona ke mhlambe kwamabili kwamathathu kwamahlanu uyatholakala ke kodwa ke akufani ke lokho kukhona la kunabasola bangatholakali nje lutho inhlobo khona kube khona ke la athi khona ke yebo bakhona ke abatholakalayo kodwa ke akwanele ngoba ke akatholakali kuona o16 ama region egcineni ke usethi ke cha lo muntu lo awukwazi ukuthi ke uyamfaka ngoba akekho kuona o16.
On the 10th of October 2023 at page 7 of the record, at line 12, Captain Masetla said the following. Even if we were to get DNA on the one that we did not get, it will not make a difference because we already have DNA on the other regions where he is excluded. So in terms of the swab, as well as if we look at the head as well, Mapisa Mthokoziseni as well is excluded.
But my lord, I answered this part. I don't know how to deal with it because he says exactly what I'm saying. And if you listen to what Advocate Kumalo has said, the captain says where he cannot read him in other regions. Giving an inference, if you read that means there are regions where he can pick him up because it doesn't make a complete exclusion. He says in other regions, giving exactly what I'm saying, that he could pick him up in other regions, but because it's not a complete circle, he is then unable to pronounce on the complete exclusion, but he can read him. Based on that sentence, it's telling you there are regions where he can pick him up.
Uma ulalela nje lokho kufundwa yeke la athi khona ke ngoba ke kwamanye engatholakala ama regions kwamanye ke etholakala okusho ukuthi ke akusho ukuthi nje akatholakala inhlobo nje khona ke ama regions la atholakala khona kodwa ke gcineni ngoba ke engatholakali kuona onke ke akakwazi ukuthi ke angenza isinqumo sokuthi ke cha uyamfaka ke kufanele ukuthi abe uyamkhipha kanjani.
I thought DNA evidence was clear. Unless we don't understand it.
I do understand.
How many regions did you say become conclusive?
May I go to the record?
Yeah. It's like fingerprints. You find a person's fingerprints, they've got 5 portions of identification similar to that person. And then it's not 7, because the other 2 fingerprints, which have to make it conclusive to 7, are not there. An expert cannot say that evidence is conclusive. But it doesn't follow that if it's not conclusive, it means there's 0. Is that not what you're trying to tell us?
That's what I'm trying to say, my lord.
I think the debate is on the fact that
No. Me, I'm talking about the science, not.
he is excluded.
Yes.
Doesn't mean when he says you are excluded, it means there's no scintilla of evidence.
No, but he says that in order to read him, you must read him in all the region.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Then there are regions in which he cannot read him, so he's excluded.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Maloyi.
As the court, please, my lord, I think my learned friend, whilst he's correct that the final conclusion
Yes.
was that because he couldn't, Captain Masetla couldn't read the DNA of accused number 4 on all the 16
All
regions.
16 regions, yeah.
He excluded him, but he read him on 4 of the regions.
Yes.
Is the first one the male, the second one D8S1179. He can read him in that. The sixth one is D3S1358. He can read him into that. And the second last one is D5S818. He can also read him into that. So he can read him into 4 of the 16 regions. So now, because it doesn't mean they meet the minimum threshold,
Yes.
hence the final. And that's precisely what Brigadier
That's what it
Gininda
means.
said.
So are we on the same boat?
No, I'm going to argue later.
Hello?
I'm going to argue later differently.
No. You're not needed. That's why I'm making it simpler for you. Fingerprints, they've got to be 7 to be conclusive, right?
Yes.
If an expert picks up 5 fingerprints,
Yes.
it's inconclusive. But it doesn't follow that my fingerprints were not there. And for legal purposes, you cannot convict a person on that evidence because it is insufficient. Am I wrong or right?
Indeed,
ma'am.
It's
Yes.
insufficient.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why not I say that it's 12:59?
Yeah, okay, no, fine. I think some of us must go and read DNA analysis because it's surely on this up and down, it means we don't understand it completely. That's why I even made an example with you guys when I said I once handled a case in 1982 where an ANC operative, they picked up 5 of his fingerprints when he was pasting a placard. The state called Stadler. Stadler was an expert on fingerprints. He came with about 270,000 samples of fingerprints. And when he analyzed them, he said there are no 5 which are identical. We got a guy from Scotland Yard who was arguing like you are arguing. that if one fingerprint is of the way, you cannot make a conclusion that necessarily the fingerprints of that guy are all not there. There've got to be seven, there have got to be 7 for a conviction to follow. So you can have 5 fingerprints on the window there, but because they are not 7, it's insufficient. You're acquitted.
Yes.
But it doesn't follow.
Similarly in this case.
That's it. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Even in this case, this is what Masetla was saying.
Then the acquittal follow.
No, it means there's insufficient DNA evidence. That's all it means.
No, I
It's
understand.
different from there is no DNA evidence. 2 different aspects. Are you with me?
No, I'm with you.
That's it, yeah. And this is what Brigadier Gininda is trying to tell us.
Indeed, my lord.
So he is excluded.
You remind me of the guys who are saying, I hope there are no persons with soft memories here. Is it lunchtime?
Yes.
I defended a guy years back in a maintenance case. And this guy is a clever of Soweto. He says, Bra Greaves. Ow. Excellent stan. Ian Kier. So it's called Titi. Meaning, I just made love to this lady one round. And he tells me, he's pregnant. That can use work again. So according to this guy, who found to learn for 101 days. Okay, 2 o'clock.